Hey, what's up, you guys? I was taking a look at the LinkedIn group, and welcome new followers, by the way. Really great to have you. I'm so glad you have started to follow us on LinkedIn, and hopefully in the next number of weeks, or like just going forward in general, we can provide you some really value-added information that you can use to essentially better your teams in terms of training, in terms of change management, in terms of streamlining business processes, and ultimately helping to contribute to your organization and making the world a better place. I love saying that phrase because honestly, you guys, anything that we do for our companies or for ourselves, hopefully we're doing it so that the world can be a better place, right? It's not all about making money. It's not all about getting ahead in your career. Your value, of course, is how much you can contribute to your organization, but also ultimately what makes an organization succeed is its impact on the world, or on its community, right? Like on its suppliers and clients and teams, like the community itself, the world. All right, so let's get into it. So the other day, I was talking to one of my colleagues that I met during a CPA event, and she shared actually with me what they were currently doing, and so what they're essentially doing without divulging the organization or like the name of the person. They're trying to standardize a new business process, and so what happens is, they've got Oracle. It's obviously a costly system to run, right? And the way Oracle makes money is that, of course, they charge for license fees. And so they have, a large number of licenses that they're paying, and they want to be able to manage that a little bit, right? And it's not that they want to completely eliminate all the licenses, but I mean, let's make this more efficient, right? So they're trying to standardize the way essentially their supply chain is working, right? And we got to talking about, this was interesting to me because I literally just finished doing this with another client of ours. They were decentralizing their procurement, and they basically needed to train all the new folks and anybody who will have the power to enter requisitions on how to do it in an efficient manner and a standardized manner, so that the next step down the line can easily take that information and process it, right? So we were talking about that, and one thing that she said actually really spoke out to me, and this is what I want to share with you guys. She had mentioned the barrier of organizational culture, okay? And this is generally like when you guys are streamlining, re-engineering your business process, or putting in a new system. It's almost, I mean, you always know that it's kind of there in the background, but you don't necessarily ever say, hey, our culture is this, therefore let's do this, right? It's always the other way around. It's always like, well, this is what the system does. This is what we need it to do to our business, make it happen, and then we'll get the people on board to use it. But it's actually not quite so simple in real life, right? And I liken it to your life. Like, I mean, everybody knows it's a no-brainer that if you go to the gym, you're going to get super fit and, all these wonderful benefits from going to the gym and exercising and dieting or like following a healthy diet or whatever have you, right? But how many people actually do it? And the reason why it doesn't stick, or like it doesn't work, our chances are because you're not used to doing it, right? Like, it's a brand new thing. It doesn't fit with your lifestyle. And so it just doesn't get done, or it doesn't get done as well. And as a result, you don't actually see any benefit, or like the whole thing is a bust, right? That lifestyle to you is what organizational culture is to an organization. Like, it's just the way that everybody knows in that organizational family how to do things, right? Like how to treat each other, how this is going down, how fast changes are coming down the pipe, that sort of thing. And if you rock the culture too much, you're going to piss everybody off and nobody's going to listen to you, right? And so, of course, then your new system, or it just creates a lot more barriers for you to implement, or like to deploy your whatever your process changes or your system changes in, right? So I invite you to think of the culture of your organization. It's got an impact on when you're gathering your requirements, right? And it's not just system requirements. It's like, how do people use this? How does this impact their day-to-day work? And is it going to drastically change, right? And so whenever I talk about, or whenever we talk about organizational culture, there's always, the next thing is change management, right? And here's what change management is not. Change management is not just this communication that, hey, we're going to go live with this new system. No, that's not what it is. I mean, it's part of it, right? But the entire change management is the ultimate result of change management is so that you can pave a smooth way and get everybody on board, both mentally and physically, like that they're ready for these new system changes, or they're ready to do this new process. Everybody kind of knows, right? And like, with even like your personal life, that if you're going to introduce a new thing or a new change, it takes time, right? Like, it can't just be, there are way too many teams that I've worked with in the past that are like, oh yeah, change management, somebody else is going to do it, first of all. And secondly, oh, it's just like this. Oh, towards the end of the project, we'll worry about change management. And I think that's a miss, you guys. I think that if you are going to be, if you want to do like really great, if you want to pave the way for your system to be successful and successfully adopted and successfully bought in, like, you're dealing with a bunch of humans, you guys. So humans need time, and they need to progress little by little, right? And the other thing is that they need vision. When and how often and what sort of change management activities that we should be putting in, or like starting to, roll out even before the system. Think of it like a movie, right? Consider that when you watch movies, chances are you would have seen the trailers as much as a year in advance, right? They show you little teasers of the movie, and like, if it's a good trailer, it doesn't give away the whole entire movie, which some of them do, but whatever. But the point is that they do it like way in advance, like a year, or even like sometimes more than a year in advance, and they put it out there. It's pretty passive. Like, they're going to do some advertising for it. It's pretty passive, though. It's not going to be like in your face or like mandatory viewing, right? No, of course not. So I invite you to adopt that sort of same philosophy when you're thinking about putting in a new system, right? Or not even a new system, like a new, piece of functionality, or like a new business process, even if it's like a little change of a business process, it's still change. Change to humans is scary. I don't care who you are. It's scary. So first of all, think of how it impacts, right? And then think of your culture. Like, is it a mom and pop culture that things are not necessarily documented very well, and messages are communicated to each other verbally or very informally? That's all stuff that you got to think about in terms of making sure that your message is applicable to your organizational culture. I feel like I'm rambling here. There were some top lessons learned that I wanted to go through, but maybe I'll do that another time. So this takeaway, you guys, if you are implementing or trying to standardize any sort of business process, first of all, start change management wicked early before you even think it's applicable. Just start putting out those teaser trailers out there, catch people's intrigue. I can go on about this. Maybe I'll do another video on like what sort of out of the box things that we can do to entice people to be intrigued about system changes and like organizational changes and that kind of thing. Okay, so let me know if you want some more information about that. I think that it would be a really interesting topic. But yes, so number one, bring in change, think about change management way in advance, like even almost as you're starting development, okay? Don't leave it to the end. Please don't leave it to the end. It makes things really hard for people like us. And then secondly, think about the culture that you are in, okay? And all of those messages and the way it's delivered, and how often it's delivered, and what sort of changes, like how incremental those changes are, need to be thought of when you are actually doing your change management and communicating new changes in your business. So until next time, you guys, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stay awesome.